What's up, everyone? Welcome to the March 29th edition of DraftKings Tournament Plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. Tonight, we have a 5-game NBA slate. As always, a little bit of pending news, so be sure to tune in to the deeper dive and live before lock on the Awesemo YouTube channel. But we're going to take a look at 5 of the top tournament options on DraftKings using the Boom Bust tool on the Awesemo.com website. Starting at number 5, Corey Kispert, projected for about 17% ownership with a 19% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Kispert is taking on the Chicago Bulls in what's likely to be a relatively high-scoring game. He has shooting guard and small forward eligibility and is only $3,900. Kispert isn't a great point-per-minute fantasy producer, but he is likely to give you around 30 minutes tonight against Chicago. He's inexpensive, not getting a ton of ownership, and does offer some upside at this price. Number 4, Giannis Antetokounmpo, projected for 19% ownership with a 21% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Giannis is facing the Philadelphia 76ers in what is likely to be a competitive game between two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Giannis's 19% ownership projection is relatively low for a 5-game slate, and the primary reason is that Luka Doncic is actually $300 less expensive than Giannis, and he's facing the Los Angeles Lakers. So you're getting Luka in a very, very good matchup, and he's going to pull a lot of ownership, as he should. But it creates a situation where Giannis, I think, is likely to go a little bit under-owned, a little bit overlooked. And I think that'll also be the case as you move up in stakes or as you get to smaller field tournaments. If you're somebody playing, a $20 single entry or something like that, I think there's a pretty good chance that you actually see an even bigger gap in ownership between Luka and Giannis, since people typically play a little bit more conservatively and rely on optimal lineups a little bit more in those contests. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Number 3, Andre Drummond, 18% projected ownership with a 21% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Drummond is going up against his former team. The Nets are 14-point favorites at home, so there is some blowout risk here. But Drummond is only $5,500, and there's some questions about his playing time as well. He played 30-plus minutes in his last game, but you do have LaMarcus Aldridge back from injury. Aldridge was available last game but did not play. I don't know if that means that Aldridge is just the third man in the rotation now. I don't know if it means that maybe today he takes Nick Claxton's 16 to 18 minutes. I don't know if Brooklyn goes to a 3-man center rotation, and it kind of sucks for everybody. But the reason I'm not too concerned about Drummond here is that at $5,500, he can play 22 minutes and still give you a pretty good score for that salary on a 5-game slate. If he does happen to get 26 to 30 minutes, he's most likely going to absolutely destroy this Detroit front court. So Drummond looks very good from a median standpoint, and there is some volatility here that can make him look even better. Number 2, Wenyen Gabriel, projected for 18% ownership with a 22% chance of being in the optimal lineup as he takes on the Dallas Mavericks. Gabriel is $4,000 on DraftKings with small forward and power forward eligibility. In a limited sample, without LeBron or Anthony Davis on the floor this year, Wenyen Gabriel has averaged 1 DraftKings point per minute. That may drop a little bit as the sample size gets larger, but he is a competent point per minute fantasy producer, especially compared to a lot of the other fringe rotation players that you get from the Lakers. With the Lakers being shorthanded tonight, it's likely that you get plenty of playing time from Gabriel at only $4,000. And number 1, Kristaps Porzingis, projected for 26% ownership, 29% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Porzingis is $8,500 with power forward and center eligibility. He is likely to exceed 30 minutes, assuming that tonight's game is competitive, and he will once again be playing without Kyle Kuzma as well. Since joining the Wizards, Porzingis has averaged 1.44 DraftKings points per minute. Now, again, you are getting increased playing time from him in his recent games where he's been able to avoid foul trouble and where games have been competitive. In the 193 minutes he's played without Kuzma on the floor, Porzingis has averaged 1.49 DraftKings points per minute with a 31.7% usage rate and a 20.2% assist percentage. So to recap, the top 5 tournament options on DraftKings are number 5, Corey Kispert; number 4, Giannis Antetokounmpo; number 3, Andre Drummond; number 2, Wenyen Gabriel; and number 1, Kristaps Porzingis.